All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to break down everything that you need to know to get set up and running on HubSpot booking links. We're going to talk about how to set them up, how to create the links, how to create your event types. We're going to talk about rotation groups and how to actually weight who gets booked priority versus others. We're going to talk about round robin versus group versus individual. We're going to talk about default links, so how to actually set those pieces up, and yeah, everything in between so that you can actually understand what HubSpot booking links has to offer, how to use it. And to be quite honest, it's so that you do not go and try and integrate something like Calendly or Schedule Once or use an alternative booking platform that's going to really just mess things up and make things way more complicated than it needs to be. Real quick, for some context, maybe a year, 2 years ago, HubSpot booking links really didn't have all the functionality that really fast growing sales teams need. Now they have everything that you're going to need. You just need to understand how to use it. And yeah, with that being said, my name is Aaron Platt. I own a company called salesmomentum.io. We're one of the fastest growing HubSpot partner companies in the United States. And a lot of people overcomplicate and make a lot of bad moves within HubSpot that ultimately take away from the power the platform has. And I do not want you to be one of them. So with that being said, let's jump straight into this video and get rock and rolling. All right, so I'm going to go through this step by step, and I'm going to pretend you have nothing set up already. If you have a bunch and you're already built out heavily or you're on a different platform, this will help you a ton as well, just to make sure you understand exactly how to set this up in the most scalable way and make sure it's set up correctly, okay? So if you're just getting started and you are about to start creating your booking links, there's a few things that you need to make sure are set up properly, okay? So if you go into the backside and you click on settings, the first thing is you're gonna make sure that your entire team, has their email connected, so they have their email connected, and they have their calendar connected, okay? This is just gonna basically allow you to obviously push events, and it's gonna automatically populate on their Gmail or their Microsoft or whatever the case may be, whatever you're using, okay? So you just need to make sure that these two things are connected for every single person on your team, okay? Now, one thing that is very nice to know about, especially when you're getting started, is if you or anybody on your team has multiple calendars that have different events happening on them and you need to check across, let's say 2 or 3 calendars for availability instead of just one. As long as you have inside of Gmail your calendars shared with each other, you'll be able to go under the calendar setting once you're connected and go under availability calendars, and you can select all of the different basically calendars that you want it to check whenever it's trying to book for you. Okay, so great example, I have my personal calendar and then I have my time off calendar with all of the team. If I wanted to check for those calendars availability against obviously where my availability is on my primary calendar, which is Aaron right here, I'd obviously be able to set that up and make sure that it's not double booking or triple booking or anything along those lines, okay? Now, going back to this, once you have all of those pieces set up, the next thing that we need to do is we need to actually create our event types. So if you go under tools and you click on meetings right here, you will need to turn this on. It's track call and meeting types. And then you're gonna go ahead and hit edit options and you're going to create all the event types. So for example, I just put 3 here as a quick example, right? We have discovery call, we have strategy call, which is just a closing call. And then we have our onboarding call. You could put support calls, you could have client check-in calls, right? You have all these different event types. And this is how we're going to, we're gonna use these event types in a lot of different reporting. And we're also gonna use a lot of these event types for filtering as well as different triggers and workflows and a ton of different things. So you need to make sure that you have your event types created, okay? HubSpot is meant to basically operate off of these event types happening anytime that somebody books or uses a booking. If you don't have any of your event types set up and you're just trying to go off of like titles inside of what is what inside of the actual booking links, it just causes a ton of headaches and it's a big problem. You don't really need to use it, okay? Or sorry, you shouldn't be using it that way. You should be setting up event types, okay? So go ahead and set your event types up. Now, the next piece, and this is gonna be for some of you guys, if you have bigger teams, you're gonna wanna go into users and teams and you're gonna wanna set up your teams. So for example, if I had a setter team and I can go ahead and put all the users, let's just say that's me, I'm on the primary team here, save. Let's say I have another team that is, for example, closers, I have my onboarding team, I have my support team. You're gonna wanna set all of these different pieces up. Now, if you're on enterprise, you can go in and you can create, for example, the team name sales department, right? And you can save that. And then you can go in and you can nest certain teams underneath. So if I wanted to nest the setter team, I could actually go in here and let me do this. Create setting team, and I'm going to put this under another team. It's going to sit under the sales department, and then I can select all the users that should be inside of this specific team. So if I go ahead and hit save, boom. Now, if I click into my sales department, my setting team, my closing team, all my sales teams are going to be directly under here. Now, the reason that this is important is because if we go back to the meetings tool, some people really like to weight or prioritize their teams. So for example, if I went into meeting rotations, I could come in here and I could create a rotation, for example, my setting team. And maybe I just right now want to keep it evenly distributed, but I'm going to show you why this is important to set up. And let's just tie this as setting team test, no wait, boom, right? Distribute evenly, and I hit save, okay? Now, the reason that this is important is because if you have 5, 10, 15, 20 setters, right? Some of them are taking off, maybe they don't work every day or whatever the case may be. Instead of going into the actual booking link and taking people on and off of those booking links, you can just come directly inside of here and you can turn their availability on and off, which just basically just saves you a ton of time, okay? Now, if you are setting it up so that you can distribute more bookings to somebody who is maybe a better closer and then less bookings to somebody who's maybe newer or whatever the case may be, you can also create a rotation, select all the team members, name it, and distribute meetings based on weight percentages, okay? And basically what that's gonna look like is, for example, I'll click in here, all the team members will be underneath, and you can select the weight. So if I'm at 100% and Jimmy is at 50%, I'm gonna be prioritized in the bookings that are coming through over Jimmy, 100% to 50%. And you can set this up at 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, and it's just gonna basically look to fill my calendar first before it goes to the next, and the obviously opportunities are gonna be distributed based on our weight, okay? So meeting rotations, you don't need to set it up, but it can help if you do have a bigger team. It's just gonna make it a lot easier for your operations team to manage this stuff and yeah, etc. Okay, so getting back into it. Once you've set up your meeting event types, we're gonna want to go into obviously our library right here and go to the meeting scheduler, okay? Now, a few things I'm gonna point out is all of the meeting links that are owned or set up for specific users are all gonna be under the owner, okay? So if I have a bunch of people under here, all their booking links that are for them specifically are gonna be directly under here. If you're creating your, for example, like main round robin discovery call link or your main round robin closing call link or whatever the case may be, onboarding link, you're gonna want to obviously make sure that all of those primary links are set up under you or a team member that's obviously not gonna be going anywhere. You don't wanna set those up under sales reps. So we're gonna make sure that those are set up and created, okay? Or sorry, not set up and created. Just understand that wherever you put it under, that's where it's gonna show up, okay? And then you have all of your meeting event types, which you can filter for. So when we're actually going in here and you wanna create a booking link, you're gonna go ahead and hit create scheduling page. Now there's 3 different types. You've got one-to-one, which is just an individual booking link. I can't add other team members for it. This would be a good example. For example, I have booking links that allow me to do impromptu meetings with different people that I meet. I have one-to-one booking links that are set up for team member review. So every month or quarter, whenever I wanna review or meet with a team member, they can schedule that way. That's gonna be one-to-one. You have group, which is going to basically take whoever is tied to that booking link. So for example, let's say for an onboarding call, I have my PMO, head of fulfillment, and our CSM who all need to be on that onboarding call. I can select group and I can tie Aaron, Jim, and Bob all to that meeting link, and it's gonna look for all of those 3 individuals' availability, and it's gonna schedule it, and all 3 of them are gonna be on the event. So this is for group meetings if you ever need to book with multiple people at the same time, okay? And then we have round robin, which is obviously very self-explanatory. This is just gonna round robin between 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 people, or you can set the actual rotation group as the round robin and it'll rotate accordingly, okay? So let's say we're gonna set up a round robin booking link, right? You're gonna wanna name the internal name, something that obviously makes sense. So for this example, we're gonna do the primary inbound discovery booking link. So we will do discovery call, round robin, inbound. And I'm gonna explain why inbound versus outbound in a little bit, right? The organizer is going to be me, right? The event title, just for something simple, we can do first name, the last name, which this is gonna be the first name and last name of the person who's actually booking, discovery call. Very simple. Now, if you're using like Google Meet or anything along those lines, that's perfectly fine. You can obviously select that. If you're using something like Zoom, all you have to do is make sure that inside of your integrations, you have your Zoom account integrated, okay? And you'll just be able to select Zoom right here. And now anytime somebody schedules, it'll automatically populate the Zoom link for you. You won't have to do anything else. It'll just populate. It'll be in the calendar event, be in the reminders, all that good stuff. Description, you can write out whatever your description is. This is a 30-minute discovery call, blah, 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 whatever you want to type out. You're going to want to turn, at least we like to turn on cancel and reschedule. So if we ever need to reschedule it or cancel it, we can just click into the event and reschedule just by clicking this link, or we can cancel by clicking on this cancel link. And then you're going to select the event type. Okay, so this is clearly a discovery call. We're going to select discovery call. Now on the next page, you're going to be able to add obviously all of the team members, right? So you can go ahead and select all the team members that you want to add inside of here, or the rotation group. So if I wanted me, Jim, Bob, Joe, whatever, inside of this booking link, you can add all of them right here, or you can remove them, or you can quite simply just set it up for this rotation group, okay? Now, once we have all the people that we want added to this link, we're gonna go ahead and hit next, and you're going to want to make sure that the URL is something that you want. So for example, let's say that this is disco-30-inbound, or whatever the case may be, okay? Now, there's a few options in here, right? So you could collect payments if you're taking payments through HubSpot. If you want to be able to set up like consulting call link, $1,000, whatever, and they can take payments before they schedule. You can also turn on contact prioritization. So basically, let's say somebody no-shows a meeting and the email automation or whatever you have set up is trying to get them rebooked, you would want to create a scheduling link that prioritizes the contact owner, because when they type in their email, it's just going to show the availability for the person that owns that contact. Okay. Self-explanatory. Take that off. Get rid of that. All right. So now we've got the schedule, meet with sales momentum. Very simple. Book your 30-minute discovery call. So this will be the actual title that shows up on the booking link. You can select duration options. You can have multiple if you want. Obviously, for a discovery call, we're not going to do multiple. We're just going to select the 30-minute. You've got all the availability that's going to look for. This isn't going to set aside, obviously, what you already have in your calendar. If you have events that are inside of your calendar, it's obviously going to search for that and not schedule over anything that you already have an event for. So if you have a sales call at 1 p.m., it's not going to show the individual that 1 p.m. time. This is just going to be the window that you want to set up. So if we're going to search for availability from 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern or 9 to 5 p.m. Pacific or anything along those lines, you can set that up. Okay. Now, additional settings, right? You can set up your company avatar, whatever your company avatar is, so your logo. You can also use a custom image, which you can change photo to whatever you want. We're just going to stick with the company avatar. And then you can set up your basically when meetings can be scheduled. So if you want a custom date range, right? So from here to here, it's a one-time link, or if you want over a time period, you can obviously go into business days all the time, weeks, or whatever the case may be. Let's just say I want it to be over a basically, let's say 4-day rolling time period. So it's only going to allow us to book 4 days out, right? Let's say the minimum notice time. So if somebody clicks on this booking link, the earliest they're going to be able to schedule is 2 hours from now. Buffer time is going to basically look at the calendar and only allow people to book 15 minutes after a meeting. So it's not back to back. I like no buffer time. And then you got start increments. So if you want all of your meetings to start every half hour or on the actual hour, you can set that up and you're good to go here. All right. Now you've got form. So this is all the information that they fill out to actually schedule. Just standard. We always want to put phone number in here, and not mobile phone number, but phone number. Check that as required. You can add custom questions. You can add different properties if you need to, or anything along those lines. You can set it up. Okay. Allowing guests is just going to allow them to add anybody to the actual calendar event when they're scheduling, which is very simple. You can turn on data and privacy piece if you want to do that. Not required, but you can also set up some catch spam prevention if you'd like to do so as well. And then additional settings below, pre-populate fields with known values. Obviously, if somebody opts in, fills out an application, we don't want them to obviously have to fill out all that information again. So it'll just pre-populate all of the information that we have on them. And then you can select auto submit if all of the information is known. All right. Confirmation, you can display the thank you page, or you can redirect wherever you want. So if you want to redirect them to a thank you page or a YouTube video or really anywhere, you can set that up to where it redirects over them. And once you have all this stuff done and in place, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that. You're gonna hit next. And you've got your confirmation email, which will go out. And then you can set up your pre-call reminders, 1 hour, 15 minutes, right? However you actually want to set this up. Let's just say 15 minutes before. You can customize a lot of the emails that are gonna be sending out for the reminders. We usually do 1 or 2 emails inside of this just to customize it, add the Zoom link inside of here and some of that stuff. But a lot of our pre-call automation, SMS, all of that stuff is actually happening out of workflows, okay? And then you're gonna go ahead and create the scheduling page. And boom, we have that set up. Now, the reason that we put inbound here is because we like to see, based on our funnels, right, how many people are directly booking from the funnel versus how many people are directly booking through our setting team. So the way that we do this is anytime we're creating an outbound link, we would just basically create this exact same link, the exact same way that we created it right here, except all we're going to do is we're going to change this from inbound to outbound. Okay. And then in workflows, based on what booking link they schedule with, right, whether it has inbound in it or outbound in it, we're going to tag the deal with outbound or inbound so that we know this came from a setter or this came from a direct booking. Okay. And that's basically it, guys. You can create as many of these as you want. If you're creating individual links, just something pro tip. Let's say I have a bunch of email automation that I'm setting up. So I'm creating an email that automatically goes out to anybody that gets assigned to me as a lead. I'm creating that email. Say it's an automated email. Next. And I'll just use some simple template here. But your default booking link, okay? So if I come in here and I say I want to personalize and insert, let's say, a booking link. Sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta find this. Boom, boom, boom. Say more. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Link to meetings. Choose meeting link, or you can just set it up to default. Okay. And whenever your default booking link, so for example, if we go into our sequences, there we go, sequences, and we're setting up a sequence, and let's say we're sending out an automated email or whatever the case may be, create a template, blah, blah, blah. I'm typing all this stuff in. If I'm personalizing it or I'm inserting a meeting link or anything along those lines, you can just select sender's meeting link and hit insert. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's going to insert wherever the email is coming from. So whether it's Jim, Bob, Joe, me, whoever, whatever they have set, right, under their name. So I'll show you real quick. Boom. Sorry, guys. There we go. Whatever they have set as their default booking link. So for example, right now, this is my default booking link. This is the basically link that's going to populate inside of that text or inside of that token. So if I have, for example, like Aaron's individual discovery call link, and I want to hit actions and set this as my default, that is what is going to send out in those emails if it's me sending it. Okay. With all that being said, that's a breakdown. Like I said, you can set up meeting rotations, weighted groups. You want to set up your event types. You can create your groups, your round robins, your individual one-on-one meetings. And yeah, that's a full breakdown. Now there is some additional settings that you guys can play with. So if you do go down to, for example, like account defaults or anything along those lines, you can go in and set up, for example, your availability. Let me see here. General. We will go to calendar. So you can set up all of this stuff. You can also, for example, if you noticed in the URL and you don't like having, for example, Aaron 992 inside of the meeting URL, you can change this to, for example, sales momentum, whatever, right? And then all of your URL slugs for your meeting links will have this if it's under your name or whatever the case may be. So it's very simple, very straightforward, and it's going to allow you to do a lot, especially as you get into building workflows and automation, and you want to start tying, obviously, your setter, like attribution, so who set what deals, what this person's show rate is versus close rate. All these different things are going to really matter after you get all this stuff set up. So with that being said, I hope this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and click the link below. I always get back to everybody that submits any questions to me through the link that's in the description as quickly as I can, and I always respond with a full step-by-step video screen share recording, getting back and giving you the answer of whatever you're struggling with. So feel free to hit that link, ask as many questions as you want, and I will see you in another video.